All right, let's get stuck into the questions. There's a ton to get through. The way we're going to do it is we're going to go through all of the questions first. There's some really good questions in there, as I said. Hey, Bob. And then we're going to go through Tinder, okay? Because I don't want to jump back and forth between questions and Tinder. I just want to get all the questions sorted out really well, and then we'll go through Tinder, okay? The Tinder stuff can, hey Marco, the Tinder stuff can get a little bit boring if it's not your profile, but there's a ton of value in looking at other guys' profiles and seeing what they're doing and seeing or hearing about comments and other opinions based on other people's profiles, okay? So what we actually did is when we sat down and made this program in Sydney, in Bondi, we all sat around in a little circle and got out our Tinders, right? And we sort of passed our phones around in a circle and got individual critiques from each member there. And that was actually really, really, really good because at that stage I hadn't been on Tinder. Hey Daniel, welcome mate. At that stage I hadn't really been on Tinder and I kind of sucked at it. I actually really did, like only a couple of months ago, right? But kind of with my background and knowing what I know about women and knowing what I know about myself, I went from no matches or a couple of matches to having a little bit of advice from a couple of guys and the rest of the group to like literally having 100. I think I've got 120 matches now of really solid hot girls. Been on plenty of dates, plenty of lays from Tinder. And I do feel to a certain extent that, I have mastered it. No matter how good you are, no matter what you're doing, there's always things you can improve on. There's always ways you can get better. Like I'm still learning stuff about women. I'm still learning things about myself. But that's what's exciting. That's the way it should be. If you've mastered everything and you're good, you may think that's a place you want to get to. But let me tell you, like once you've done that, it's actually it's not a good place to be in because you feel like you've done it and there's no progression, and that's that becomes a very shallow and unfulfilling place when you're not learning and not progressing. Okay. I think it's Tony Robbins that says himself, happiness is like progression, or happiness is like expansion and growth. So if you're not growing and you're not expanding and you're not learning, then essentially you become somewhat unhappy because that's, at the end of the day, what life is about. It's about the growth process. It's about going through the hard slog so that when you get results and when you become good at things, it actually is meaningful for you and it gives you a satisfaction or happiness because of that growth and because of that constant challenge and overcoming those challenges, okay? So it's actually a very good thing to be constantly learning, growing, and getting better. So, let's get right into the questions. First one is Tariq. My question is actually a simple one. How many times do you have sex with a girl before calling it quits? I sometimes get the feeling that some of the girls are starting to form an emotional bond, and I sometimes tend to get that feeling as well if I sleep with a 9 for quite a while. Okay, excellent question. Tariq, I love your stuff, man. Thanks for your support. It's great having you in this group and great having you on board in general. Really, really cool dude. I'm going to come and see you in Amsterdam someday. But I developed a 3 times rule. And I think I made a post about this some time back. And it was essentially that once you've been with a girl, or let's say slept with a girl on 3 occasions, then it's generally a good time and place to go, okay, how do I feel about her? If I don't see a future with her, or I don't perceive her to be of any real value in my life, it's time to cut loose. It's time to let her go. It's time to tell her nicely. It's not like, I just never call her again, or I never see her again. It's time to tell her, look, I've been seeing you now. I'm not really sure if things are going anywhere. I'd say it's probably just better that we call it quits and we part ways and we shake hands and move on. Okay, you don't actually say, yeah, let's shake hands, but it's kind of like an agreement to just let what we've experienced here kind of go. Okay, I had to make many of those decisions in Sydney over a short period of time. There was one girl which became, she became very attached to me very quickly. And it became quite fucked up. Like, she was following me around to bars. She was... I'd be in set with some awesome chicks, and she'd just come in and fuck it all up. And it was really, really bad, and I had to go, okay, enough, this is not cool. She was actually really, really hot, and I look at pictures of her now and realise, like, how hot she actually was. She was, like, Miss Belgian or some bullshit like that anyway, at one stage, a contestant in Miss Belgian. And I had to go, okay, I've been with her 3 times. um, what's happening here? Am I going to stay with this girl? Do I want to keep having sex with this girl? Is she crazy? Is it of any worth if I keep her around here? Like, what is going on? It's time to make some calls. And once you've been with a girl 3 times, you should have a really good idea of what it's like to be around her, what it's like to spend time with her outside of the club, outside of the bar, spend time with her just, chilling on the couch, watching a movie, maybe going for a quiet dinner or something like that. You should really get a feel for what you want from her, okay? And it's generally for guys, it's either a yes, I do want to continue with this girl, or no, I don't want to, okay? After that 3rd time that you've been with someone, you should be able to make up your mind pretty quickly, okay? If you can't, then I would suggest just cutting it loose, okay? So it's like, okay, I've been with her 3 times, I'm not really sure how I feel. It's just time to cut it loose, okay? It's time to continue my progression, my learning, my journey, cut all these other girls off, and create time, space, and energy in your life to see other women, to keep going out, to keep doing what's important in your life so that you're progressively moving forward on your journey and not wasting time hanging around with other girls that you may or may not have a future with, okay? Now, for some of you, that might seem a little bit hard. Like, it's like, oh, I'm sleeping with this girl and I really like her, and if you don't have other girls around in your life, it may seem quite odd to you to just, call it quits after sleeping with a girl a couple of times, or 2 or 3 times. But I promise you that once you start getting more girls in your life, it just becomes easier and easier and easier, okay? And for me, it's like very rare that I'll allow a girl to stay in my life more than having even seen her once or twice, really. And Alex has even said this to me. He's like, dude, you're literally ruthless with cutting girls out of your life. It's like, if they don't have any value to you anymore, it's like, that's it, it's over, done, goodbye. And that's not like me being an asshole or like, I've slept with her once, like, get the fuck out of my life. It's just that, okay, I've met you, I've had time with you, I've enjoyed you, and it's just time. It's not a bad thing, it's not an asshole type thing, it's not like a player type thing, and it's just an aspect of life that's completely normal. And yeah, Anton, if you're uncertain to it, it's either hell yes or pretty much no. You'll kind of, you'll know if you want to be with a girl. Like, I can very, very easily figure out, yes, I just want to keep being with this girl, or no, I don't. Hey Tariq, welcome, mate. You've actually just missed your question, buddy. We've just covered the whole thing. But you can go back and watch this later, of course. That's the whole beauty of live, right? Is you can go and watch the whole thing in your leisure, whenever you feel. I actually love and prefer it if you guys are live with me, because it's just better whenever someone's speaking to you live, and when you're able to interact and hear it in real time. It just is better. I can't really explain why. So I do encourage you to come in live, but if you can't, then yeah, of course, watch it at home. Watch it later at a time that suits you, right? But yeah, if I had to give you a number, it would be 3 times before calling it quits. And if you do start to get emotional or an emotional bond, just realize that that's actually like a natural part of being and sleeping with a woman is when you have that deep connection, especially if it's physical, especially for a woman. Like, she pretty much can't help but get attached to you, generally speaking. It is similar for guys in the early stages, but there is, I forget what it's called, but it's actually known as a certain law, and that the more and more times that you do sleep with a woman, you eventually do start to become less and less interested in her. If anyone can recall that law or exactly what it is, but it's a pretty well known and widely accepted phenomenon. Just a couple of things here. Yeah, thanks for your comment before, Tristan. Yeah, man, there's a certain aspect, to doing a live program. Like, it's one thing communicating, on a forum or a live video like this. It's another thing doing a whole program, and then it's another thing completely on top of that is immersing yourself and spending a whole weekend or a whole month with a coach or with someone, okay? how many dates of no sex before you generally move on to someone new? That's an excellent question, Tristan. And that does come down to you and how much you like her, okay? And let me give you this challenge. There will be a time and a place where you'll be like, no, I'm not seeing this girl again because I don't like her enough to hold out, okay? I don't like her enough to go on another date to hold out. And at that point, you'll know that there's no point continuing going on any more dates with her, and you just be like, no, I'm done. But having said that, a really, really, really quality girl that you really, really like, it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one to give you a figure, but I very rarely wait, and all of the long-term relationships that I've been in, so that's like, 1 year plus, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, and 5 years, I think I've been in, so that's like, 13 years of solid relationships, maybe more, like, that's a shit ton, really. I've always slept with them on at least the second date, but having said that, there've been times where I've waited maybe 3 dates for a really, really beautiful girl that I'm really interested in, that I really do, want to be with. So I would say, as a general rule, again, 3. But it's all relative to how much you like her. Like, yeah, if you really like her, then just wait. There's nothing stopping you from going and seeing other girls on the side. But be prepared to play that long game for someone that you like. And at the end of the day, that can almost be better because you know that she's like, she's not an easy girl. And there will be girls like that, no matter how good you are. She'll just not sleep with a guy for 3 dates or 4 dates or sometimes even 5 dates. And that's very rare and that's pretty ludicrous, but just be aware that there are girls out there like that. And it's going to happen now and then, and you really have to make that question yourself. It's like, am I willing to go and spend time with her and realise that there may not be any sexual gain in it for me for some time, right? Okay, next question. Andreas, I find it hard to stay in set when I open someone who's coming towards me rather than I'm walking the same way towards a target. When I'm working with a girl, my sets always end up in leads or in very least a nice chat. When I'm stopping her, I can't really switch my brain on, so we're just staying there and smiling at each other for a good 5 seconds before it all becomes weird. It's not that I'm particularly nervous, I just don't seem to get further than I just wanted to say hello, okay? The girl doesn't actively reject me, I kind of reject myself in a sense, where she asks, did you want something in particular? Okay, I end up saying not really, I just wanted to meet you, and then we're saying goodbye and splitting ways. Okay, do you have a practical solution to this sticking point? Yes. More intent. Okay, much more intent. So, you've got here that you're saying, I just wanted to say hello. Why did you want to say hello? Okay, why did you just want to say hello indirectly to ask, for something silly like directions or, something stupid like that? No, you wanted to stop her on the street because you thought she was beautiful and you thought that, she's someone that you want to see and that you have intent as a man coming from a masculine place, that you like this girl and you want to stop her and you want to talk to her and tell her how you feel. Okay, it's not like, oh, you're so beautiful, I love you, I love the way you look, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, that's going the wrong way about it. That's getting towards the needy, pathetic side. It's like, hey, I just saw you walk past, I had to stop you, and I would have been really disappointed if I didn't come and say hello. You look like just my kind of girl. How are you? Okay? I get the impression here that you're just not coming on strong enough, and you're coming on with, I just wanted to say hello, and your words say it perfectly. She doesn't reject you, but you kind of reject yourself by, she's like, well, what do you want? Okay, a woman wants a man that knows what he wants. If you don't know what you want, you don't convey that to her, she's not going to make that decision for you. So you need to make it pretty clear in a non-needy way, right? And that's the big key, it's in a non-needy way. Now, okay, when you're just standing there looking, smiling at each other for a good 5 seconds, yeah, that can be nervous, and that's okay, but you need to come up with steps to take it further from there. And that can just be something as simple as continuing the conversation to something else. So it's like, okay, I came up here, I wanted to meet you, you're fantastic, you're beautiful,